Welcome, SENS Talk.
Here comes Smith with a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Triple Grant is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go SENS go.
Welcome, SENS Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. Now, bear with me in this video. You could probably tell by my voice. It's not as sexy as it usually is. I'm pretty congested right now. I've been sick the last few days. I literally had a great interview planned for the World Juniors, and I had to cancel it because my voice was really raspy. Thankfully, for the first game back for your Ottawa Senators since the Christmas break, by the way. Hope everyone had a great Christmas, had a great holiday, and of course, happy Hanukkah to all those who are celebrating currently, like myself. But had a great interview planned, so we're going to have to do that later on. But my voice is a little bit back, so we can do tonight's video. Unfortunately, we got a lot to talk about and not a lot of positives, so let's just get right into it. So, some injury updates. Ottawa has a bit of an issue right now in the crease, as both of their NHL goaltenders, that being Linus Ullmark and Anton Forsberg, are currently injured. Now, Anton Forsberg did travel with the team on this road trip, so it looks to be that he should be back soon. Well, Linus Ullmark is out with back tightness and did not, join the Ottawa Senators on the road tonight in Winnipeg or for tomorrow's game in Minnesota. So that is definitely concerning, considering the fact that Ullmark has dealt with multiple minor ailments already this year, and Ottawa desperately needs Linus Ullmark in the net if they want to continue to play as well as they have played as of late, and more so to stay in the thick of the race. Any team, doesn't matter if it's the Ottawa Senators or any other team, if you lose your star goaltender, you're going to struggle. So hopefully Ullmark isn't out for too long. Michael Amadio is dealing with a concussion. He's going to be out for some time, while David Perron and Artem Zub should be out for some time as well. So Zub, he was practicing with Forsberg the other day before practice, so he should be back soon, but still probably another 2-3 weeks minimum, I would just guess. And Perron, he seems to be going to be out for quite some time. Potentially long-term injury reserve could be in play for Perron. We'll see what happens with him, but he's dealing with some really difficult ailments as well right now. So that's really unfortunate to see for him. He's had a really tough year, no doubt about it. So, honestly, maybe they shut him down, free up some more cap space, because he's dealing with some really nasty stuff. We'll just leave it at that. So wishing the best for Perron, who's just had a hell of a year, and not in the good way. Now let's get into tonight's game. So, last thing, I got to mention this. Canada. My goodness, Canada. I'm sure many of you were watching the game last night. Canada against Latvia. Shout out to Landis Felbergs. I mean, my goodness. What an incredible performance. Like 54 saves on 56 shots. Stopped all the shots in the shootout. For probably the craziest, if not one of the craziest, hockey upsets you will ever see. At any level. In any competition or in any tournament. That was a hell of a game, and congrats to Latvia. But Canada, you know what? I'm going to yak just thinking about it, because Carter Yakemchuk and many other star players should be there. And you reap what you sow. I'll just leave it at that. You reap what you sow, Hockey Canada. And you left a lot of talent off the roster. And, we'll see how it finishes off here. But, inexcusable, to say the least. Just inexcusable. So hopefully we can bounce back and get right back on track. But I just had to mention that as well, because that was crazy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And again, not that Latvia didn't deserve that win. Not that Felbergs didn't stand on his head. Both things are true. But those can also be true while also saying that Canada probably should have won that game and should not have even been close to losing that game. So anyways, we'll see what happens. But, again, you reap what you sow, and not having Carter Yakemchuk there is a hell of a mistake, on top of leaving, again, multiple other very talented players. So let's talk about tonight's game now. So for Ottawa, Mads Søgaard would start. It's just his second appearance in the National Hockey League this year. His first appearance was in that wacky 8-7 overtime victory over the Los Angeles Kings early in November. He played just over 30 minutes in that one. So it's safe to say Mads Søgaard has not faced a lot of NHL action this season. And he's also coming off a major injury in Belleville. So he played a little bit since that injury. He just came back. But again, keep that in mind, because, the Winnipeg Jets are a hell of a team. They're one of the best teams in the National Hockey League for a reason. And, again, this guy has not played a lot in the National Hockey League this year. And most of all, he's coming off a major injury. And on top of all that, we'll talk about it in this game. Some of those goals he allowed need to stop, no doubt about it. Some of those, where are the defense going? So we'll leave that for those parts of the video. But he starts tonight for Ottawa while Connor Hellebuyck starts for the Winnipeg Jets. What a mismatch of a goaltending matchup. And now that's no disrespect to Mads Søgaard, who I love. He's a friend of the show. I still keep in contact with him pretty regularly, to be honest with you. He's a really nice guy. But Connor Hellebuyck is arguably the best goaltender in the National Hockey League, so it's a tough test for him, no doubt about it, to go up against a guy like that. And also just in general for the Ottawa Senators to go up against a team like the Winnipeg Jets. But to the first period we go, and Ottawa early on, they look like the best team in the National Hockey League because they start off this game with a goal. It's Timmy Stu on the power play. Look, Ottawa's power play at home, one of the best in the National Hockey League. On the road, not so much. Not so much. They are dead last in the league on the road for the power play. But on this goal, you would not have seen that. Drake Batherson, what a sneaky playmaker this guy is, Drake Batherson. A nice little backhand pass to Sanderson to start the play, to open up the lanes for the Winnipeg Jets. They kind of get into formation, leaving some lanes open, particularly in that bumper area where Batherson goes to right after that backhand pass to Sanderson. Sanderson right to Batherson. Batherson, what a pretty feed as he sees Timmy Stu driving to the net, and Timmy Stu takes care of it. 1-0 Ottawa. They strike first off the power play goal. It's under 11% on the road for Ottawa and their power play, but it's 100% on that opportunity. 1-0 Senators. Timmy Stu. This guy is so good. I mean, my goodness. I put out a graphic today. Just kind of says it all for how good of a year Timmy Stu is having. You would expect this from Brady Tkachuk, but look at your screen right now. Tim Stützle is in the conversation of Brady Tkachuk in physicality, which is absurd. The only two players in the National Hockey League with 30 points, 50 hits, and 20 blocks going to this game were Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk, and that continues tonight, where Stützle again gets on the board, and he played a solid physical game as usual, but it's just so crazy. Tkachuk, we expect that from, but Tim Stützle, the physical player, is not something we expected, especially, you know, when we drafted him. Even last year, I would not have expected that. So him adding that dynamic to his style of play and his game, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's really paying dividends. It's really, frankly, why I think he's had such a, I don't want to call it a breakout year because, I mean, he's been on the scene for a while, but why he's been that next level this year. So we move on now. Continuing on through the first period of play. And by the way, I have to mention, Ottawa is 15-2-0 when scoring first this year. Keep in mind, the Jets are like one of the best teams in the National Hockey League, and they've only lost like a few games at home this year. So this is a hell of a start for your Ottawa Senators. As, after 20 minutes of play, they'll be up by a goal. It's 1-0 for the Senators going into the second period. They even led shots there in the first period. Now look, Søgaard looked a little shaky there, but he made the saves when called upon. And things were looking good for Ottawa early on. So we go to the second period of play, and I couldn't believe this when I saw it. I literally saw it from my screen. I'm watching on my couch. I'm not on the ice. I saw it. The refs didn't see it, and they were right there. I couldn't believe it. Jake Sanderson gets clipped in the face. Luckily, he was okay. 4-minute double minor, of course. They did not call it right away. They had to convene, and then they eventually called it. But luckily they called it because, let's just say, it worked out for Ottawa. But unbelievable that they missed that call. But anyways, 5 minutes into period number 2, it's really Greg putting it home on the deflection from Shabbat Shalom. Thomas Shabbat, 2-0 Senators. The Ottawa Senators have the worst power play percentage in the league on the road. And now both of their goals tonight come on the power play. How about that? And Thomas Shabbat, again, I always got to give him praise. He is so hated for no reason. He's arguably, if not been, one of the best defenseman on the Ottawa Senators this year. And he's making a very, very good push to be the quarterback one on the power play again. I love Jake Sanderson. I think he deserves to be there. It would be better for his development as well. But Tom Shabbat certainly should be considered because he has been very good. And we're not getting enough offense from the blue line right now. So Shabbat is one of those bright spots in terms of offensive output this year from the blue line. So definitely take advantage of that. But really, Greg, nice deflection up front to put your Ottawa Senators up by 2. But 7 minutes later, this is where things start to really collapse for your Ottawa Senators, and the Jets really start to soar and take off, literally. As with about 8 minutes left in the second period of play, I don't know what the hell Ottawa's even doing here. And this is really the beginning of the same old for Ottawa. the last stretch, like the last 14 games, we've won like 10 or 11 of them, right? Like Ottawa's look so good. Allmark, a big reason as to why, they've been winning all those games. Like Ottawa, yeah, they played well, but Allmark, his goals saved above expected, whatever the hell the stat is called, it was like 25 plus. So he stopped like 25 more goals than he should have than the average. So that certainly showed in this game, especially on a goal like this, where you can't blame Søgaard, and you can really only blame the defense here, where they leave Connor alone between the hash marks, and he gets a one-time shot. Of course, it's going to beat Søgaard, and Ottawa's suddenly only up by a goal. Just a couple minutes later, I mean, this is one you need to stop from Søgaard, no doubt about it, as I kind of referred to earlier in this video. The first goal, can't blame Søgaard. The second one, definitely can. Now look, terrible pinch by Jensen. You're not going to have me say otherwise. But on a backhand muffin shot, yeah, you probably need to stop there. If not, for sure need to stop there. So that was a brutal one for Ottawa to give up late, as Ottawa and the Jets are suddenly tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play, with Ottawa leading in shots by 3, 18-15. But again, at this point of the game, Søgaard's actually looked pretty fine in my opinion. Again, a lot of people are highly critical of goaltending. Sometimes that's deserved, especially on that second goal, for example. And again, Jensen, where are you going? But you need to stop there, no doubt about it. But I also think people are too harsh on the goaltender because, yeah, sometimes you need to stop from the goaltender, but you got to watch the play in front of him because that's also a massive factor into why that puck goes into the back of the net. And that was on full display in this one. As we go to the third period of play, I mean, like, what the hell are we doing here? It's crazy how the first 30 minutes, Ottawa, they were looking like the SENS we've seen the last 10, 15 games. And then the second half looked like the November SENS all over again. Well, right here on this power play, which, by the way, was because of Mads Søgaard, it's the first ever penalty he's taken in the National Hockey League. Hamnick leaves Velarde all alone in the slot. Take a drink. Of course, a slot goal against the Ottawa Senators. And the Winnipeg Jets have their first lead of the night. It's 3-2 Winnipeg. That's a goal that just cannot happen. Can't happen. Hamnick, I don't know what you're doing there. No one can blame Søgaard on that goal. That's for sure. Easy tap-in for Velarde. But again, Hamnick gets caught puck watching, pinches a little bit towards the passer, gets, of course, again, caught puck watching, and Velarde takes full advantage of that. And then a minute later, this is a mismatch of terrible, too deep in your net, too small in your net goaltending by Søgaard. And just what the hell are you doing, Ottawa Senator defense, where Ehlers walks into the zone. Okay, he walks into the zone. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He walks into the zone. He has 3 defenders against him. All 3 back up. They are collapsing. Why? No clue. They let Ehlers walk in, and exactly what you expect to happen, happened. Low blocker side, and the Jets take a 2-goal lead. It's 4-2 Winnipeg. Søgaard needs to stop there. That was low blocker side. He was deep in his net. He was crouched. I didn't like the way he looked there. But also, it's 3v1. It is 3v1. And we're going to talk about the transition defense later in this video in the game notes. But the transition defensive errors were on full display on that goal. And the Jets take full advantage. You can't do that. Bad teams find ways to lose, and Ottawa found ways to lose tonight for sure, particularly on that goal there. And good teams find ways to win, and the Jets certainly found a way to win in this one as they take down your Ottawa Senators 4-2. After 6 wins in a row, Ottawa now has dropped back-to-back games. I know. I can't believe it either. I thought we were going to go undefeated and win the rest of our games this season, but it's back-to-back losses for the Ottawa Senators as they now drop to 18-15-2 on the year. Look, 18-15-2 is still pretty solid. We're still in a playoff spot, barring what happens there with the Islanders and Penguins. But, again, look, that is a game we expected to lose. Okay, we expected to lose that game. But the fact we had a chance to win that game, or at the very least get some points out of that game, makes it so disappointing again, because it's yet another game where Ottawa probably, I'm not saying the Jets didn't deserve to win that game. They fought back in the second half and easily were the better team. But Ottawa should have at least forced a point out of that. They were there. They had it. And they let it slip away. So we'll see what happens tomorrow as they take on the Minnesota Wild. We'll see if Levi Merilainen starts that one. He looked good in his couple of appearances before that break. So we'll see what happens with that. But with Søgaard, he stopped 19 of 23. Not good, not bad. I mean, he was decent. He's not the reason we lost this game, but he certainly didn't help us win this game either. But the transitional defense was a main issue as to why Ottawa lost this game. And keep in mind, Søgaard made some big stops, all right? Like, people are very critical on him. He's a young goaltender coming off a major injury and just his second NHL appearance of the year in front of a defense in front of him that's collapsing, puck watching, leaving the slot open, leaving the hash mark, between the hash mark open, just letting the Jets walk all over them. So eventually some of those are going to go in. And Søgaard made some big stops tonight. He really did. But again, 19 for 23. It's all right, but it's not going to win you the game. And again, the loss of Linus Ullmark is on full display there, where Søgaard was fine, but Ullmark probably would have made stops on those second and fourth goal, and we're probably looking at a different result in this one. At the very least, a tie game. Those 2 goals are erased. So it's not on Søgaard, but that really shows the difference between, a young goalie and a star goaltender, you know what I mean? Now, a couple of notes. I'm losing my voice here, so I really got to cut it short here. But a couple of notes. So the SENS special teams tonight were really, really good. I'm not going to lie. While the power play for the Jets did score tonight, going into this game, Ottawa had killed 18 of the last 20 power play attempts, and the Jets have like the top power play in the league. So killing 2 out of 3 is not bad, especially considering Ottawa's penalty kill has been a sour spot for Ottawa. But, again, that goal for Velarde in the slot, the diamond formation, again, it's the same damn mistakes. And you would think they would learn, but nope, they're not. So maybe it's, hopefully it's just some rust after a bit of a break. I don't know, but after such a strong stretch as of late from the SENS penalty kill, that was disappointing to see, even though overall they played fine. And the power play tonight for Ottawa on the road is the worst in the NHL, as I've mentioned multiple times. Got all the goals for Ottawa tonight. The special teams carried Ottawa in terms of the offense. So I thought that was really interesting to me. But yeah, so with that, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. It's not a loss where I think you're going to lose your mind over, but it's a loss where you left points on the board that you probably could have got. So we still have games in hand. We still have basically a playoff spot as of this moment, as I'm recording. But those games in hand don't matter if you don't win them, and that playoff spot won't last long if you don't win. So we lost 2 in a row. We have to end that tomorrow against the Minnesota Wild. I'll try to put out a video for that one. I do have a family Hanukkah event. I have some family. I'm going to my mom's to spend time with my family for Hanukkah. So I'll try to put out a video. Likely will be one of those handheld videos, but hopefully they'll give us a win to talk about. But yeah, besides that, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your support. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. As always, I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.